The shocking truth behind Sandy Lyle's Masters miracle shot lies in what happened next. A tale of unfulfilled potential that haunts British golf to this day. That iconic 7-iron from the fairway bunker on Augusta's 18th hole in 1988, followed by the winning putt in his famous Scottish jiggle celebration, should have been the launchpad for sustained greatness. Instead, it became the spectacular peak before an inexplicable decline. Lyle's story begins with immense promise. Born in England but representing Scotland, he followed his club professional father into the game. By age 17, he was already breaking records, becoming the youngest ever winner of the prestigious Brabazon Trophy in 1975. His amateur career flourished, and after turning professional in 1977, success came quickly. He captured European Tour Order of Merit titles in 1979, 1980, and later in 1985, establishing himself as a dominant force in European golf. But it was his major championship victories that truly etched his name in golf history. In 1985 at Royal Street, Georges, Lyle ended a painful 16-year drought for British golfers at the Open Championship. For Scotland specifically, the wait had been even longer, stretching back over half a century to Tommy Armour's triumph in 1931. This victory held special significance for Lyle, who had been in the crowd as an 11-year-old boy when Tony Jacklin won in 1969, inspiring his own golfing dreams. 3 years later came the crowning achievement, his 1988 Masters victory. The win broke another significant barrier, making Lyle the first British player ever to don the coveted green jacket. His triumph sparked a remarkable period of British dominance at Augusta, with Nick Faldo securing back-to-back victories in 1989 and 1990, followed by Ian Woosnam in 1991. What made Lyle's Masters win especially memorable was its dramatic conclusion. Tied for the lead on the 72nd hole, his tee shot found the fairway bunker. From an awkward uphill lie, unable to see the flagstick, Lyle produced one of the most iconic shots in Masters history. His perfectly struck 7-iron cleared the lip, soared over the flag, and used the green's contours to settle just 10 feet from the hole. He calmly sank the birdie putt to become the first player since Arnold Palmer in 1960 to birdie the final hole to win the Masters. By mid-1988, Lyle had reached the pinnacle of the sport. He added the Greater Greensboro Open and the World Match Play Championship to his Masters victory that year, defeating Nick Price, Seve Ballesteros, and Nick Faldo in succession to claim the world number first ranking. His peers acknowledged his extraordinary natural talent. Faldo called him the greatest natural talent in the game, while Ballesteros offered the ultimate compliment: if we all played our best, Sandy would win. Then came one of golf's most perplexing collapses. Within 6 months of reaching world number one, Lyle's game inexplicably deteriorated. He admitted feeling uneasy about his ball striking even while achieving high finishes early in the 1989 season. His wife observed that he seemed golfed out and might have benefited from an extended break, a step Lyle seemed unwilling to take. His own assessment was devastatingly direct. It was as if someone had flipped a switch. I wasn't the same player. I'd lost it. The decline was so severe that in 1989, he withdrew himself from consideration for the European Ryder Cup team due to his poor form, a significant admission for a player of his stature. While occasional flashes of brilliance remained, like his victory at the Volvo Masters in 1992, this proved to be his final European Tour win. His consistent presence at the highest level had ended just 4 years after reaching the summit of the sport. What makes Lyle's story particularly frustrating is that his inconsistency was a recognized trait throughout his career. He described his own golf swing as a bit temperamental and characterized his career path as a roller coaster of peaks and lows. Peaks again. He acknowledged his capacity to win a tournament one week and potentially miss the cut by a wide margin the next. This volatility was evident even in the lead-up to his greatest triumphs. Just a month before his 1985 Open Championship victory, Lyle controversially walked off the course midway through his first round at the Irish Open due to poor play. His remarkable turnaround to win the Open weeks later exemplified the unpredictable nature of his game. Controversies and disputes further complicated Lyle's career narrative. Early tensions with Nick Faldo emerged when Faldo reported him for a rules violation during a tournament in Kenya, resulting in Lyle's disqualification. Though golfers are obligated to uphold the rules, this incident between two young players who would become dominant figures potentially sowed early seeds of rivalry. More damaging was a public feud with Colin Montgomerie decades later. When Montgomerie was selected for the 2010 European Ryder Cup captaincy, leaving Lyle as the only member of Europe's Big Five never to captain the team, Lyle reacted with public criticism. He accused Montgomerie of cheating in the 2005 Indonesian Open, where Montgomerie had been filmed apparently replacing his ball in a more favorable position after a weather delay. Lyle's frustration stemmed from feeling overlooked despite his achievements and seniority. He was particularly upset that Montgomerie had previously been a vocal supporter of his captaincy aspirations, only to accept the role himself. Lyle reported that his calls to Montgomerie went unanswered after the decision, eventually receiving only a formal letter he suspected was written by Montgomerie's manager. Adding to these tensions was a highly publicized incident at the 2008 Open Championship at Royal Birkdale. Lyle withdrew after completing just 9 holes of his first round, citing cold hands. The decision provoked intense criticism, with Lyle finding himself plastered all over the back pages like public enemy number 1. Many believe this withdrawal significantly damaged his Ryder Cup captaincy prospects. Lyle defended himself, insisting he had a pre-existing hand and knuckle injury, a nerve issue worsened by the extreme weather conditions. The contrast between Lyle's extraordinary natural ability and his failure to sustain dominance remains one of golf's great enigmas. Was his decline due to technical flaws in his temperamental swing, mental fragility under sustained pressure, or simply burnout after reaching the top? Lyle favored a straightforward approach to golf, stating, "I don't get too complicated. I think that's been one of my best assets." This simplicity may have been integral to his fluid power and seemingly effortless grace when performing well, but perhaps became a disadvantage during struggles. Unlike more methodical players who could deconstruct and rebuild their swings during slumps, Lyle's less analytical style might have made it harder to diagnose and correct problems once his confidence ebbed. The relatively abrupt end to his time among the game's elite contrasts sharply with the longevity displayed by contemporaries like Bernard Langer and Nick Faldo. Lyle's temperament added another dimension to his profile. Often described as easygoing, some perhaps misinterpreted this as lacking the necessary hardness for consistent victory, a notion Lyle himself rejected, stating, "I know people think I'm too easygoing, too soft, but I don't accept that only hard bastards make champions. Yes, I can win the way I am." Despite the unfulfilled potential, Lyle's impact on golf remains significant. His British Major Championship breakthrough inspired a generation of players. His contributions to Europe's Ryder Cup resurgence were vital, particularly as a member of the historic 1985 team that secured Europe's first victory since 1957, and the 1987 squad that claimed Europe's first ever win on American soil. His achievements were eventually recognized with induction into the World Golf Hall of Fame in 2012 and a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Scottish Golf Awards in 2013. He was appointed a member of the Order of the British Empire for his services to golf and marked his 100th major championship appearance at the 2022 Masters before making his final competitive start at Augusta in 2023. Sandy Lyle's career represents one of golf's most fascinating paradoxes. A player blessed with extraordinary natural talent who achieved historic breakthroughs, yet somehow never sustained the dominance his abilities seemed to promise. His story reminds us that in golf, as in life, potential alone is never enough. It's the harnessing of that potential consistently and under pressure that separates the all-time greats from those who merely flirt with greatness. In the final assessment, Sandy Lyle remains a pioneer for British golf, a 2-time major champion who inspired a generation with unforgettable moments of brilliance. Yet the lingering question remains, with all that natural talent and the world at his feet in 1988, how much more might have been?